Norris. My piece, Violin Concerto Sama, is a finalist in the 2019 SOUNZ Contemporary Award. Violin Concerto Sama was written to a commission from Orchestra Wellington. I was walking along Kelvin Parade one day when my phone went, and it was Marc Taddei, the musical director of Orchestra Wellington, on the other end. And he just asked outright if I'd be interested in writing a concerto. At that time, he didn't specify which instrument, so I was actually originally thinking of writing a cello concerto, but then as his year program got planned more and more, it turned out that a violin concerto with Amalia as the soloist would work really well. So that's really how it came about. He decided that it would be a violin concerto, and I immediately thought of some ideas I really want to explore for that medium. I decided it would fit nicely into a fairly classical form of 3 movements, and that meant each movement would be a relatively substantial 7 or 8 minutes chunk. So the title Sama refers to a particular ritual which comes from Islamic culture, and particularly I was interested in one version of that which comes from Turkey, which is the Semazen dance of the Mevlevi order in Turkey. And they're best known in English as the whirling dervishes, is the English translation. And they circle around the floor in a quasi-trance-like state. And I was very interested in this idea of circling, which is something I've been interested in for a while, the sort of cyclical motion, sort of vortex, orbiting, and a number of my works sort of engage with these kind of motions. But this was as an actual human dance form that involves this endless repetitive cycling was something that really interested me. And I thought immediately of musical ideas that explored whirling or turning slowly and quickly in certain movements, and how that related to the kind of cyclical motion and orbiting that happens on a really cosmic scale. And so that this piece kind of balances the very human scale of the dances with the cosmic and the grand. Movements are based very much on the idea of the dance, and particularly on the concepts behind the dance. So in the dance, each of the dancers holds one hand up, pointing upwards towards the heaven, and that's, I guess, facing up towards God and towards the cosmos. And the other hand is pointed towards the ground, so facing palm down, and one foot always stays connected with the ground. So it's almost as if the dancer is a conduit between the heavens and the earth. So the first movement is called Art, which means earth, and deals a lot with the idea of growth, fecundity, this kind of quite earthy, unpredictable movement. Little things grow out of small motivic cells and blossom into larger thematic ideas. Whereas the second movement, Fada, really engages with the idea of the cosmos and these huge scales of time, particularly. And in the second movement, I was interested in dividing the orchestra up into lots and lots of individual parts, almost to imitate the kind of cosmic sweep of the sky, if you like, and there's little points of light in there which come from the harp and the crotales and other instruments like that. And over this texture, the violin floats way up high on the E string, kind of disconnected from everything that's going beneath it. And then the third movement is semazen, which is the dance itself. So we've had the earth, we've had the sky, and then in the final movement you get the dance itself, which is very high octane, very fast tempo, not at all in some ways like the dance, which is actually quite sedate. This is my kind of fevered reimagining of a whirling dance, I suppose, not unlike the end of Rite of Spring, where, you know, the dancer dances themselves to death. It's a little bit, I suppose, of a reminiscence of that, but very much incorporating this whirling motion, the violin going up and down the fingerboard very fast. I was actually really excited to hear the first performance. Often at a premiere I'm quite nervous and don't know how it's going to go, but I knew that the orchestra was really into it, and I'd had a lot of time and energy to really play with the colours of the orchestra, so I was really excited to hear them finally in the Michael Fowler Centre with a big acoustic. And yeah, I just had a great evening actually. Being a finalist in the SOUNZ Contemporary Awards is always an amazing honour, and it's, I guess, a privilege that we sort of don't get often in the arts, is a kind of national recognition for work we're doing. It can sometimes seem like quite a hard slog, particularly in music that's often not well paid or difficult to get stable audiences for. And it's nice just every now and then to have something that really, I guess, honours the achievements of artists around New Zealand and the fantastic work that we're doing here. Just looking at my fellow finalists, you know, to be in the company of those two fantastic composers is a really awesome feeling.